big breaking news that's coming in from the nuclear power plant. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant has been seized now by Russia. So it's under Russian control after the shelling, after the fighting that's been reported at Europe's largest power plant. It's now under the control of the Russian military. Much like Chernobyl, this one too is now being controlled by Russia. Russia maintains this is a step being taken to protect these nuclear power plants to ensure it's not used against their interests. So this is big breaking news coming in, Shiv. The site has been secured, but it's now under the control of the Russian military.
This is an enormous development. And what Elnar was just telling us from Moscow is playing out, Akshita. Basically, the Russian military has seized control of Europe's largest nuclear plant. Let me repeat that for my viewers. The Russian military has just taken control of Europe's single largest nuclear energy facility in Zaporizhzhia in southeastern Ukraine, very close to the eastern rebel provinces of Ukraine. And the Russian military, we have a confirmation now, after the shelling that took place overnight, the fire was put out. The Russian military allowed fire extinguishing personnel to come in and put out the fire. The facility is safe, but it is now in Russian hands. This is a huge, huge development. This is a strategic, a big strategic gain for Russia, Akshita, on day 9 of this invasion. This is a facility that provides 25% of electricity consumed by Ukraine. It is huge. A quarter of Ukraine's energy needs are basically put out by this particular facility that has now fallen into Russian hands. I don't need to explain to you what that means, in terms of a battlefield scenario, but I will anyway. It basically means Russia has its hands on the throat of energy security of Ukraine at a time when it needs energy more than ever. It needs electricity, it needs power at a time to keep all of its systems running to take on this invading force. And what Russia has basically done is clamp down on a quarter of that electricity output and basically signaled not just to Ukraine but also to the world that we mean business. It's day 9. It's the second day of the second week of this invasion. There was a world view that Putin has been under pressure. He's on the back foot. But here you have Russia making perhaps the biggest gain so far by taking control of the Zaporizhzhia facility after the fall of the city of Kherson yesterday. Let's get a reality check in from the ground. India Today's Maria Paisarenko, our reporter on the ground in Kyiv, is with us. Maria, very dramatic developments late last night, overnight and early this morning with the Zaporizhzhia nuclear facility. It's Europe's largest. It provides over a quarter of the electricity to Ukraine. And word just coming in that the Russian military has seized control of that facility. What are you hearing, Maria?
Morning. So the night was again really rough, but not in Kyiv, but in Zaporizhzhia, as we've seen this shelling of nuclear objects, which is just insane if you think about it. Yes, and as for now, I've read the report from mayor of Enerhodar, the city where this nuclear power plant is situated, Dmitro Orlov. So his latest update is that the fire was put down successfully. No damage of the energy block was reported, but so far the situation remains very difficult. So these three words, the situation remains difficult, prompt us to think that the nuclear power plant is still in a situation where Russians can take control of it, but no reports, no direct reports of this power plant being seized by Russians or being taken control over by Russians. So we have to follow these updates of Enerhodar mayor to get some more information. So and let's talk more about what was happening during the night. So the bombing of this object, the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, were happening throughout the night, and the videos of just rockets flying to the direction of energy blocks and crucial facilities of the station were out online, were put online, and even the president had to record immediate address, telling and actually saying that it's unacceptable and just insane for Russians to bomb this nuclear object. And we've seen also the tweets from Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Dmytro Kuleba, who was also condemning the attack and calling the world to look what is happening there, because that is really a threat not only for Ukraine, for Enerhodar or Zaporizhzhia, but also for the whole world. Because if they target this energy block and if the nuclear reactor is destroyed, you understand this is the story of the second Chernobyl or even worse. But at the same time, during these challenges, the interesting report surfaced on social media where experts in nuclear energy tried to explain why this nuclear power plant is much more protected than Chernobyl, for example, because there are numerous layers of cover around this reactor, around all the station, so that even if missile target this cover, it remains intact and there are no casualties or no nuclear reaction or no radiation coming out. So far, we see the report only that there was fire, really, but in some administrative buildings, so not on the reactor, not close to this nuclear facility, but just on the near some house, near some buildings, which just supporting infrastructure of the nuclear power plant. And also we see that the level of radiation hasn't changed yet so far, and Ukraine called the world also to monitor the situation, and the international agency which takes care of nuclear power energy also announced that it will have a closer look on what is happening in Enerhodar, and will be monitoring the situation in the coming days, and is now in alerted position, so that if something happened on Enerhodar, the whole world would know about the situation. So all in all, we have still to get the confirmation what is happening right now on the nuclear power station. But as of report of the mayor, no, it has not yet been seized by Russians. So the situation is that it is still in, nobody understands in which control it is, but no Russians on the station so far.
Maria, it's very clear what Russia is trying to do with what's played out right now, which is that they're trying to gain access of all the energy hubs. Is there any advisory, any directive from the government warning that there could be a power blackout in Ukraine?
Sorry, just heard one more explosion, faraway explosion. So okay. I want to remind you that right now I'm walking in my yard because there were sirens and we had to rush down. So here is again my bomb shelter, which I'm going to go in later. But back to your question about energy. Yes, all of the time of these 9 days of invasion, there were threats and fears that Russians would cut off energy, electricity supplies, water supplies, and so on. So far, nothing happened except for the situations in different cities. So the most alarming one is Mariupol. In Mariupol, the situation is really terrible. It's close to humanitarian catastrophe. One of the banks of Mariupol is just cut off any type of connection, any type of water supply, electricity supply. And I have friends and colleagues who have relatives in Mariupol, and they didn't manage to get in touch with relatives. So no connection so far. And that's really very worrying information. But if we talk about energy supplies for Ukraine, like generally for all over Ukraine, we see that for now the situation remains stable. And yes, the Russians tried also to target not only the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Enerhodar, but also Yuzhno-Ukrainska. Also they tried to to capture and other facilities like the other types of energy, power plants, not only the nuclear ones. And we see that this is clearly a strategy to take control over energy resources of Ukraine, but no warnings, no issues were reported by the official sources. So they try to call people to keep calm and to follow the official news, because yet and so far no threats to the energy supplies in big cities have been reported.
Okay,
so that's
so
the
far,
situation as of now.
okay, so far no threat to electricity. Russia claims it has taken over the Zaporizhzhia facility. Maria, stay with me.